Tiago look to you in his shoot-around?
I mean, as good as you can look in a shoot-around. I think, yeah, he's moving okay, and I paid a lot of attention to him in the D-League minutes that he has received. It's still very early days, but he's moving as good as he's moved since he has been with us. I know him as well as I know anybody on my team. I spent many years, I think it was 4. You guys can do your research on that. But he and I shared a common background. We understand each other very well. He is completely blue collar. That's how he has stayed in the NBA for as long as he had. That's how he's gained success internationally. Anything that equals blue collar, that is what he is best at. And I think, to his credit, if you saw his free throw before he came to San Antonio, you'd recognize just how much work and improvement he's made in his shot. But his skill and where he is most able to make a difference on a court is just a workman-like blue-collar mentality.
Also, I know you already have a relationship with him, but is his tenure here about, building relationships? I mean, because, he's
his tenure?
Yeah, his tenure here about, building relationships. Like you guys are going out and basically getting him back in shape so next year he can find a team of his choice and play.
I think there is a lot to that. I feel like similar to I hope most every player I've coached, that you think about how do you help somebody. Like we've learned over the years, it comes back tenfold, to help our organization. And so there is a similar mindset with Tiago, just doing the right thing. Just trying to help him get better and find his career again, and it'll go where it goes from that point. But there is always a philosophy that we have as an organization and as the head coach that interests us very much.
What do you think veteran, what's the thing that you think he needs to work on while he's here? Is it just the conditioning?
It's just playing basketball again. You get to a stage where he is at what he does in many ways is enough. He just has to do it really well. And so running the floor, screen setting and rolling, rebounding, like he does those things really well. And there certainly is no lack of a blue collar feel to his game. And from those perspectives, those comments, that's how we're trying to grow our program to mirror the city. And he does do all that. Dario just does it with obviously a higher skill package from a different position. But what Tiago does, I very much respect. And he's been in the league and been rewarded in this league for the reasons that aren't even my opinion. It's just the marketplace spoke.
He already has a resume. People know what he can do.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But with Sergio being questionable and with the MRI, if let's say hypothetically he weren't able to go, how would you address the point guard situation?
Nick will come in and he'll be the backup point guard. And if anything ever funny happened there, I think you could give Dario the ball. And, I feel that because there's a chance you go into tonight's game with 8 players, everybody understands that you've got to be a little bit creative, but the pecking order would be Nick and an outlier, something that you're just really searching for. Could be a Dario type. Just give him the ball. They remind me of some of the teams early on that we coached. Just a bunch of young guys trying to make the NBA. Nothing to lose at the end of the year. Sometimes catching teams off guard at the end of a year. I think that they play with really good pace. I think that the embracing of the three-point line they've done. I think in Jeremy Lin and Lopez, you have two just very good players, as their contracts would reflect. And, they're trying to grow a program similarly to like we did. And so at this time of year, you're seeing Lopez and Jeremy lead the charge. You're seeing some of those young guys take advantage of the opportunity. It's been interesting for me personally to watch KJ McDaniels again and watch him come back into the mix and get, 20 minutes, 24 minutes, play a decent amount of minutes. He hasn't played really for a while since he left us, but I think he's done a really good job of, getting back in the league and playing again, and it looks like he's really helping them.
About their lineup, I mean, they have Rondé Hollis-Jefferson playing the 4, and then they have like a 3-guard lineup. It's kind of like a swing man. I mean, they're having success. They won 3 of the 4 games.
That's right, and their style of play is completely small ball, and so you got Lopez, doing his thing as a legitimate low post threat, and then they roll out 5 guards, and it's I call it it's summertime. It's summertime, and that's the offense. And I say that with some respect, because they really have put points on the board. They run, they play free, they play loose. It's summertime. It's stuff you'd see in the summertime, and I'll say it's organized summertime, it's coached to summertime, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're coming into a gym and going through 7, really sophisticated plays that they run. It isn't that. It's far more conceptual than it is play-oriented.
Brett,
I think you brush it aside and move on. This group understands completely as a group that Indiana game was not, one of my favorites. There are sometimes you lose and you walk into a locker room and you say, you got beat by the 5th best team in the East. They're trying to hold on to a playoff spot, even though that fact is true. I didn't feel like we played well. I really didn't. I felt like there was no real pop to what we were doing. I thought the mindset wasn't where it needed to be. I do think we missed a lot of shots that in the past we've made. Just look at our 3-point percentage and the volume of threes we put up. I was actually happy with. But it was just a mood. It was a mindset coming off, I think, a really good win, an excellent win in Chicago that was distasteful. And I believe that, history says this group will gets it. They don't need to be pounded down, and we'll come out and we'll play tonight. Against a hot team, as Keith mentioned, this is a different Brooklyn team. Don't get tricked by their record. Look at what they've done in the past 10 games and get a better snapshot of who they really are.
Going back to Dario, I know that point guard thing will be a huge if, but what have you seen in him ball handling wise where you're comfortable saying you would be the hypothetical?
I think if you put another 4-man on Dario Saric, he's going to have no problem bringing the ball up the floor. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the elite defensive 4-man like Draymond Green, may make me pull some of that back, but he has guard skills, we've seen it in open court. We've seen enough to know that my comments aren't outrageous. Some of us in the situation we're in, you could connect some of those dots. And so I don't want to make this a bigger story than it needs to be. It's just, as a third option, when you're looking at 8 players, it enters your mind.
Right. Is there do you have a set time, like as far as when you want to bring John back?
Not really. I'm just very, relying on the medical people's direction to me. And to date, that has not been given to me. And so we'll go with the flow accordingly.
So he just shut down completely? Basically?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say shut down completely. I think it's fluid. I just don't have anything really, I don't know anything to comment further on a timeline. But to say shut down completely.
Or he hasn't been doing anything like at practice or something?
He's been doing slight stuff, and we're still paying attention to his cardio. But in general, he hasn't been doing very much.